niggas. Most High Yah called us royalty.
1 Peter 2:9, but ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light.
Tough pill to swallow, right? Shalom.
Proverbs 22 rich, blessed with abundance, stacking my script. Understand, it's never money that I cherish. I got exposed with the sins I tried to bear. Oh Father, no I don't deserve it. Show mercy, could've been a hearse, yeah. So earthly, living with no purpose. Promise I lived, it wasn't worth it. Learned to see who I was with no mirror. Gave up all them drugs to see clearer. Didn't know I was killing me slowly. All alone, I was all in my lonely. See the battle in my flesh, didn't know how to conquer all my demons, I was low. Remember falling to my face, Father praying to your light, show me the way. I repent, sorry for my mistakes. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. If I would've known better, would've did better. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. If they would've shown better, would've lived better. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. If I would've known better, would've did better. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. If they would've shown better, would've lived better. Yeah, yeah. I was broken, now I'm rich. Rich in spirit, the bank can't define it. Store my treasures up in heaven, you can't find it. Meditating in some silence, just to find within. That shalom, this far beyond the stars. I asked y'all, the search was in my heart. Dear Lord, this world will depart. If it ain't y'all, you can walk. Don't need nothing in my life, boss. All the woes of the world, I'ma toss. Want the type of faith for water I can walk. Life and death in the tongue, better watch what you talk. Stacking blessings like they counting chips. I ain't blinded by designer gift. I want eternal life, that's a different gift. The scripts pick me up, different type of lift. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. If I would've known better, would've did better. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. If they would've shown better, would've lived better. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. If I would've known better, would've did better. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. If they would've shown better, would've lived better. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, in times. More living water. Under the coconut trees, East African breeze. Just wanna do these statutes in peace. It's different when you keepin' the actual feast. Tell the Akim come inside, there's lamb you can eat. Trying to kill your carnal side is hard work. The enemy knows where your trauma lies, them scars hurt. Cast down imaginations, we born first. Cause you could perish for feeding into the wrong urge. Chapter 8, verse 32, I'm in Proverbs. Watch who you hearken to, be sure you were taught the truth. Deception is real, gotta watch the fruit. I tell my children pray for me, cause they innocent. I tell them the kingdom is coming and you a citizen. My 2-year-old saying her prayers, what am I witnessing? A voice said I'm waking up my sheep now. Suffer the little ones and let them seek now. Living water. In times, yeah. Most likely if you listening, you made your decision. Don't waver on your mission. Yeah, walls closing in that record speed. Hoping to see a harvest soon. We sow several seeds, unashamed. Ask if I believe, I say yes indeed. Bible talk, if the combo ain't holy, I'm less intrigued. Never look down on my people, I'm trying to lift them up. When we gon' put our foot down, we been kicked enough. I refuse to sit back and complain when it's a savior that can break every shackle and chain, and the father that can part the sea, hold the tide back. You have not, cause you ain't asked, he knows all your needs. That's why every day I'm at his feet like, Father, please. If you hearing from me, never take your spirit from me. Nothing in this world is worth missing the kingdom, cause when the gates close, it's case closed. No do-overs, no retrial. While he can be found, you should seek now. Living water. In times. And I know if you listening, you made your decision. Don't waver on your mission.
Keep moving, it's not time for sleeping.
Romans 8 and 16 go by the spirit. Time to save black lives, no more killing. Save Hispanic lives, no more killing. Shining my light in darkness, ayy. Keep grinding, never ever quit, ayy. Some niggas bug, gotta go focus.
Tunnel vision.
Tryna be a better me. I feel the truth inside my belly and it's bittersweet. But it's cool, I've been working like a honeybee for my dreams, but I'm working like I never dreamed. Ayy, I've been feeling out the energy. What's between us is an envy or it's energy. We should strive to be the best that we ever could. Some friends ain't even friends and never should. Ayy, nothing but love for you.
All right, shalom and shalom. Welcome to tonight's class, Law School. Appreciate everybody for coming through. I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh. All right, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, it's in his name that we do all these classes and edify the people. All right, we're going to get started. Before we do, though, we're going to send up some prayers. So, brothers, if you have your head covered, please uncover your head. Sisters, if you don't have your head covered, please get you something to cover your head so that we can face the east and pray. Pray. Our Father in heaven, we humbly bow before your throne and say thank you, Father, for allowing us to gather together to study your word, to look into the law, statutes, and commandments. Father, for it is our wisdom that you gave us to be a representation of you, Father, in the sight of all the nations. Thank you so much for choosing us, for calling us into this truth, for waking us up today and giving us another chance to glorify your name. Thank you so much for being our power. And please forgive us for our sins, Father. It's in the blood of your Son, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, that we pray. Amen. And all praises to the Most High. Welcome back. All right, so this week in law school, we in Deuteronomy, chapter 14. All right, so Most High willing, we're going to primarily be dealing with the laws of animals, what animals we can and cannot eat, tithing as well a little bit, right? So let's start at verse 1.
Okay, Con. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14 and verse 1. Ye are the children of the Lord your God. Ye shall not cut yourselves, nor make any baldness between your eyes for the dead.
So we cannot cut ourselves, right? Or make any baldness, meaning you can't shave your eyebrows off. That's an Egyptian custom. All right. They would that's why a lot of the pictures or images you see of them, they got the painted on eyebrows. All right. So some of you sisters into that too, cutting your eyebrows off and drawing them on. Can't do that, all right, especially for the dead. That's an Egyptian custom. All right, let's go on.
Verse 2. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God, and the Lord hath chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself, above all nations that are upon the earth.
All right, so we're the chosen people of the Most High. That's why we can't do it. We can't do what everybody else does. All right, let's look at this word peculiar. All right, peculiar, it says strange or odd, unusual. Right, so when we keep the laws of the Most High, we're going to appear to be strange and odd. to everybody else that's not doing it. So you shouldn't be surprised. Don't be thinking not strange, right? If you look that funny or people don't want to be around you because you keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. This is supposed to be like that because the Lord said you are a peculiar people unto himself. He wants you to be strange. He wants you to, you know what I mean? He wants you to be that way to all these nations. It says, and he created you above all nations that are upon the earth, right? So that's a blessing. All right, let's keep going.
Verse 3, thou shalt not eat any abominable thing.
All right, what's an abominable thing? What is abomination? Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 44 and verse 4. What does it mean, abominable?
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 44 and verse 4. Howbeit, I sent unto you all my servants the prophets, rising early and sending them, saying, oh, do not this abominable thing that I hate.
Right. So an abominable thing is something that the Lord hates. So he's finna tell us the animals that we shall not eat because not necessarily could he hate those animals, but it's not fit for us to eat. And we should look at it as a disgusting thing. Right. So let's keep reading. Let's look at some of these animals.
Deuteronomy chapter 14 and verse 4. These are the beasts which ye shall eat, the ox, the sheep, and the goat.
All right. You can eat an ox, you can eat a sheep, and you can eat a goat. Right. Let's look how an ox looks. Some people might not know how an ox looks. So yeah, but you see how do see how Esau do?
Bro, they pulled up everything but an animal.
Yeah, how they want to do everything, but Esau got to turn something into something wicked. All right, ox is a type of cattle, right? So that's an ox. Look like a cow. You can eat that, right? That's an ox, a musk ox. You got different types of ox. All right, one would just look at that and say that's a cow right there. But you got different types of it's all cattle within the cattle family. All right. So this is something you should know. If you out in the wilderness and you happen to be hungry, right? You in the wilderness not by choice necessarily, but and you want to hunt, you need to know the type of animals that you can look for to hunt that could be lawful for you to eat. All right. Let's read verse 5.
Verse 5, the hart, and the roebuck, and the fallow deer, and the wild goat, and the pygord, and the wild ox, and the shami.
All right. So let's look at a heart. It's a deer, right? So a hart is a type of a deer. All right, that's a hart. It's just another name for a deer. Right? Some people will say that's a reindeer, a red deer. All right, a buck. You can eat that. All right, that's a hart. So you see that when you in the wilderness during Jacob's trouble or what have you, you can eat that. Right? A roebuck. Look at a roebuck.
The same thing as a deer.
Right. Right. That's what a roebuck look like. You see, you got the little His antlers ain't quite the same, but that's a roebuck. Another type of deer. Venison, the meat would be called. Right? Let's go back. Fallow deer, that's another type of deer. A wild goat, a pie guard. Let's look at that. See what he looked like. See that? That's a pie guard. Right? All these animals got something in common. All right, that's a pie guard. Look, they know, see, mentioned in the Bible. Deuteronomy 14:5, right? Permitted for food. All right, so you can eat that. A wild ox or a musk ox, all right? A chamois.
That's pronounced shami.
Chimey.
Shami.
Shami.
Yeah, just like that. Shami.
So that's a shami. You see that? Hey, he probably be good with some onions, some olive oil. You know what I'm saying? You gotta, hey, you do him just right. He probably, you know what I mean? That probably be hidden. All right, let's read verse 6.
Verse 6. And every beast that parted the hoof and cleaveth the cleft into two claws, and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that ye shall eat.
All right, so those are the 3 requirements. It's got to part at the hoof, be cleaveth the cleft into two claws, or be cloven footed, and it's got to chew cud. It's got to do all 3 for us to be able to eat. Let's look at what cloven footed look like. That's the osprey. All right, that's cloven footed. It's like a clove a little bit. See that? So something good for us to learn is like animal tracks. Right? That's what people who hunt look for. All this is example of cloven footed. And these are split as well. That's what you're looking for. That's not. You see that? That's a mule foot versus the cloven hooves. That's a good illustration right there. That's the difference. If it's just like that, or it got like feet that look like a human a little bit, you don't want to eat that. The Lord said no. All right. So it's got to part the hoof, have that split, be cloven footed, cleaveth the cleft. That's the same thing as cloven footed, into two claws, and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that ye shall eat. All right, let's read on verse 7.
Nevertheless, these ye shall not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divide the cloven hoof, as the camel, and the hare, and the coney, for they chew the cud, but divide not the hoof. Therefore they are unclean to you.
All right, so these animals don't chew. These animals chew the cud, but they don't divide the hoof. They're unclean. Like you see a rabbit is always chewing. He's chewing on some cud. Camel as well. All right. A lot of in Asia, they like to eat camel hump. We can't eat that though. The coney is like a badger, right? Or nah. That's like a little bit of a deer type animal, I believe. Oh, good. Siri, you're supposed to be smarter than this. That's a coney, right? Look like a little bit of a rat almost. All right, so it's probably like some type of rodent. You know what I'm saying? You can't eat that. Most of the animals we can eat, they kind of look like you're supposed to eat it. It don't look like you're supposed to eat that.
Right. It don't.
Look at his hands, man. No, it don't look like he's supposed to eat that, right? So it's got to do all three of those things. These split foot, cloven footed, and chew cut. It's got to do all three, right? Let's read on verse 8.
Deuteronomy chapter 14 and verse 8. And the swine, because it divided the hoof, yet to it not the cud, it is unclean unto you. You shall not eat of their flesh, nor touch their dead carcass.
You can't eat that pig, right? The pig divides the hoof, but it don't chew cud. It's unclean to you. You cannot eat that, right? A lot of people, that's a struggle for some people, but you can't eat it. Let's go to Isaiah. Let's look at a prophecy concerning the swine and everything else that the Lord said is abominable. All right, Isaiah 66 and 15. Let's start there.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 66 and verse 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire.
Right.
For by fire.
Now the Lord hadn't done this yet. All right, so this is a future prophecy. Go ahead.
For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many.
Now it's going to be a lot of dead people when he come back. Let's see why.
Verse 17, they that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh and the abomination, and the mouth shall be consumed together, says the Lord.
Eating swine's flesh and all those other things that the Lord said were abominable. You can't eat them, right? If you're going to eat pork, you might as well eat that little rat thing we seen, the coney. You can't eat it. Right? The Most High said if he come back and he see you eating that, you're going to die. He going to put you to death. All right? Pork got demons in it, man. Don't eat that stuff. Right? Obadiah, you had some?
No, I was gonna say, man, I just posted a video yesterday on the page. It was yesterday, 2 days ago, going into like a lady. She was cleaning the pig, man. It was just so much stuff that she had to do to the pig, and you can't even really fully clean a pig. But it just show you the process of how much stuff is inside. Like it just show you how nasty the pig is, man. Like it got extra hairs in it and extra claws, and it's just it show you that we're not supposed to be eating this animal, basically.
Right, I seen that. Let me go to it because they might have not seen it. Show y'all about this pig y'all want to eat.
That was wild.
Yo, let's watch this. It ain't even long. We do own this.
It says, and the beast that was and is not, right? Even is of the 8th and is of the 7th. It's of the
Go back to the thing, man.
It says, and the beast that was.
you see who's doing all that, taking good care of the pig like that, man. Go ahead, Thad.
That's a damn parasite. That's a walking parasite.
But I was just gonna say, man, I know that stink, bro.
That was horrible. You putting that in your body, man. It just looked like a sandwich when you get it. But that's what it is. Right? It's nothing delicate about that. It's no delicacy. Right? That's your bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich before it get on the bun. That's horrible, man. That is absolutely horrible. No, you shouldn't die over that, man. Goodness gracious. All right. So let me see. Let me go real quick. Let me go to because some people would argue, that's the law, that's the Old Testament. We can eat these things now. All right, well, let's see. Let's go to the New Testament. All right, this is one of the precepts that get pulled to say that we can eat these things. All right, let's start at verse 1. 1 Timothy 4 and verse 1.
1 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly, that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils.
All right, so Paul's warning Timothy about what's to come. Later, we're going to have people teaching things that are in opposition to the Bible. All right, let's keep going.
Speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron.
Okay. All right, they speaking lies and hypocrisy. All right, let's go on.
Verse 3. Forbidden to marry and commanded to abstain from meats, which Yahweh had created to be received with thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth.
Right. So right there is where people say, oh, see, you one of these apostasies. You one of these false prophets. You telling us we can't eat bacon now. It said commanding to abstain from meats. When they said that, they meant a group of people, the Gnostics chiefly, was going to come around saying that you couldn't marry, you weren't supposed to be having sex, right? That you couldn't eat meat. All right. It says, which Yahweh have created to be received with thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth. That's important. What's the truth? The law. The people who know the law know what they can eat. Right? Go ahead, Thad.
Oh, I forgot to put my hand down. Came out.
You had some?
Y'all gonna say a point where you probably gonna say it too, King. Like you just said, he's talking to the people that know the truth. He's talking basically talking to the people that know the law. So if he said like it's created to be received with thanksgiving, then what's the foods that's created to be received with thanksgiving? You have to go to the law and see. By you, King.
That's right. And he gonna say that. He just gonna say it in a different way. Right? Let's keep reading. Verse 4.
For every creature of Yahweh is good, and nothing to be refused if it be received with thanksgiving.
I see Obadiah, you don't know what you're talking about, brother. Bible just said every creature of God is good. So you can eat bacon. What is you talking about? Right? It said, and nothing to be refused. I don't have to refuse the bacon double baconator. I can eat it. It just said it. Right? It said every creature. But this is the point, right? You see these two dots? Let's see what it says when it keep going on. Read verse 5.
For it is sanctified by the word of Yahweh and prayer.
You see that? It's sanctified by the word. What does sanctified mean? All right. Sanctified means set apart as or declare holy, consecrate. So the animals that were set apart is the ones that we can eat. Where were they set apart at? Like he said, the ones that know the truth, that know the law. That's where he told it. We reading it now. So Paul is not going to come and just totally turn the Bible and the law upside down and just do his own thing. He's not doing that. right? You shouldn't read his mail if you don't know what happened before he was born, right? He was a student of the law. All right, go ahead, Uriah.
They love saying that on that Cornelius story too.
Exactly. We're gonna touch on that too. Matter of fact, let's go to it. Because this is one that's popular as far as telling people they can eat whatever they want to eat. But it's plain, man. The truth, which is the law, Psalms 119 and 142. And he telling you the creatures that are good are the ones that are sanctified, the ones that the Most High set apart. It's not hard to understand. Right. So let's go there. Let's go to Acts. Acts 10. We're not gonna read this whole thing. Basically, you got a brother named Cornelius, right, who is sent to meet Simon Peter, right? So we're gonna deal chiefly with Peter. All right, so let's start at verse 9.
The book of Acts, chapter 10 and verse 9. On the morrow, as they went on their journey and drew nigh unto the city, Peter went up upon the housetop to pray about the 6th hour.
All right, so he went up to pray. Let's keep going.
And he became very hungry and would have eaten, but while they made ready, he fell into a trance.
So he just fell into a trance. A trance is like your eyes kind of still open, but you seeing something that's not actually there. He's seeing something. The Lord finna deal with him, right? Let's keep reading.
Verse 11, and saw heaven open, and a certain vessel descending unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the four corners, and let down to the earth.
Right, so that's important. He saw heaven open and a certain vessel descending unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the four corners. Let's read verse 12.
Wherein were all manner of four-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air.
All type of beasts, pork, kites, everything, right? He's seeing these things up in this vision, in this vessel, right? Let's read verse 13.
And there came a voice to him, Rise, Peter, kill and eat.
Right. So he told Peter to rise, kill, and eat. Right. So let's deal with this vessel. He said he's seen a certain vessel descending unto him. Let's go to Hosea 8 and 8. Let's see what the vessel is.
The book of Hosea, chapter 8 and verse 8. Israel is swallowed up. Now shall they be among the Gentiles as a vessel wherein is no pleasure.
Right. So Israel, when it says Israel, is talking about northern kingdom. They were among the Gentiles. So if they were among the Gentiles, they were called Gentiles as a vessel wherein is no pleasure. So that's the vessel that's represented here. Right. This brother Cornelius, you read the whole chapter. We got a whole breakdown on this chapter on our page. Right. But he's a brother from northern kingdom. Right. And he's likened unto a Gentile at this time and a vessel. Right. And so he's seen these beasts. What the reason why I said a great shit knit at the four corners, let down the earth. So we established the vessel is Israel, northern kingdom among the Gentiles. And what's the four corners representative of? Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter. Let me see if I want 4. I think I want 4. I might do 28. I mean, I like 28. Let me get 28. Deuteronomy 28 and 64.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
All right.
And among thee,
that's good. So Israel is scattered among all people, among the four corners of the earth. Right. So that's what this is talking about in Acts 10. It's not talking about food. right? It's not talking about food. He told Peter, rise, kill, and eat. Right, let's read verse 14. This is how we know it was all type of animals.
Acts 10 and 14. But Peter said, not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean.
Why? Because he kept the law, right? Let's jump down. See, basically, he had this vision 3 times, and the Lord said, go eat. He like, no, I don't eat unclean animal. Let's jump down to verse 28. Let's see what this is talking about. This
Acts
whole
10, still like it, Ken.
Salaki, go ahead.
Acts chapter 10 and verse 28. And he said unto them, ye know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto one of another nation. But Yahweh has showed me that I should not call any man common or unclean.
Right, any man. So these unclean animals that he's seen represented man. Right, he said, I shouldn't call any man common or unclean. So the Most High deals with us in visions and similitudes. He fell into a trance. All right, so that's all it was. It wasn't, the Lord wasn't saying, okay, you can eat hog now. We established that in Isaiah 66, where there's a prophecy saying if you eat that hog, you're gonna die. So why would he tell Peter in Acts that now you can eat it? It don't make sense, right? Just because we hear, I got to deal with this because somebody may get confused. They say, is it not, you know how it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come into one of another nation. Remember I said Cornelius was Northern Kingdom, right? Let's go real quick to Ezekiel. What does it mean? Because people say another nation and they say, oh, Esau can get the kingdom. They jump straight to trying to say Esau. All right, let's go to Ezekiel chapter 37 and verse, I think it's the last verse. Twenty 22. Right, so this is prophecy dealing with Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom coming back together.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 37 and verse 22. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be the king to them all, shall be king to them all. And they shall be no more 2 nations, neither shall they be divided into 2 kingdoms any more at all.
Right, so it said they shall no more be 2 nations, even though they both came from Jacob. When the kingdom split, they became 2 separate nations. It's not saying that Moab and Esau, y'all want to say Esau. It's not saying that you can save Esau. He's still unclean. All right, you can't save him. There's no way around it. So another word for kingdom is nation. It's the same thing, right? So that vision chiefly was about Peter having to understand that, look, Northern Kingdom, you can't call them unclean no more because Yahweh died, and now they're being grafted back in. All right, the whole Bible makes sense when you let it make sense. All right, so let's go back to Deuteronomy 14. So you still can't eat none of these things the Lord telling us you can't eat. All right, let's read verse 9.
Deuteronomy chapter 14 and verse 9. These ye shall eat of all that are in the waters, and all that have fins and scales shall ye eat.
So you can eat fish. That's what you can eat, fish. You can't eat shrimp, crab, lobster. Let's read on.
And whatsoever has not fins and scales ye may not eat. It is unclean unto you.
Unclean to us. We can't eat it, right? Let me show you something. A shrimp and a cockroach is like the same thing. I know how to spell that. So shrimp are arthropods, right? That's what a shrimp is. It's the phylum arthropod. Now watch this. All right. So it said bladdertodia. Hold on. Cockroaches belong to the phylum Arthropoda, a class of insecta. So it's the same thing. It's just one is terrestrial and one is in the water. So if you wouldn't catch that cockroach crawling across your living room at night and boil it and put it in some cocktail sauce, stop going to Red Lobster. Stop getting the shrimp bowl. It's the same thing. Same with spiders and crabs and lobsters. It's the same thing. You can't eat it. You can eat fish. All right. It's a lot of fish, salmon. It's got to have fins and scales, though. All right. So let's go back. Let's read verse 11.
Deuteronomy chapter 14 and verse 11. Of all clean birds you shall eat.
Mm-hmm.
But these are they of which you shall not eat: the eagle, and the ossifrage, and the osprey,
All
and the
right.
glebe.
You can't eat the eagle and the ossifrage. Let's look at the ossifrage. That's the ossifrage. It's called the bearded vulture too. See that? It's a bird of prey. Chiefly, you can't really eat those birds of prey. All right, that's that. All right, an osprey. That's that. Another bird of prey. You can't eat that. It looks like you can't eat it. He probably try to eat you. It's you or him. That's how he looks.
You right, bro. He will. He'll eat your dead body.
Yeah. See that? The Lord gave us like sense with a lot of this stuff. Right? The glebe. Bird of prey. Look at his eyes, man. You can't eat that. So don't get hungry out there and Jacob trouble and just go to eating anything, man. Kite. Not that kind of kite. All right. Another bird of prey. They kind of look like they don't want you like bothering. They got that presence. You say, and the vulture after his kind. So any type of vulture, you can't eat it. All right. And it say, and the raven after his kind. All right. Any type of raven, you can't eat it. Let's read verse 15.
And the owl, and the nighthawk, and the cacao, or we call cuckoo, and the hawk after his kind.
All of these of their kind, you can't eat them. All these is birds of prey. You can't eat them. Let's read on.
Verse 16, the little owl, and the great owl, and the swan,
and the swan,
and the pelican, and the gear eagle, and the cormorant.
Read on.
And the stork, and the heron after her kind, and the lapwing, and the bat.
Can't eat no bat soup.
Verse 19, and every creeping thing that flieth is unclean unto you. They shall not be eaten.
Every creeping thing that flieth, like an example of a creeping thing that fly, like them roaches that fly. You can't eat them. Right? It goes into more detail about the insects that you can eat in Leviticus 11. All right, but a thing that creeps, an insect that creeps and flies, you can't eat that. All right, you can't do it. They should not be eaten. All right, let's read verse 20.
But of all clean fowls you may eat. You shall not eat.
So of all clean fowls you can eat. So everything that he didn't name up there and say was unclean, that's a bird, you can eat it. So people be saying you can't eat chicken. that you can't eat turkey? Did he say a chicken was unclean? Did he say a turkey was unclean? No. You can eat that. All right. The Bible just don't add or take away from it. And it'll be simple to understand. All right. But of all clean fowls you may eat, those are the ones that he didn't name up there. All right. Let's keep going. Verse 21.
Ye shall not eat of anything that dieth of itself. Thou shalt give it unto the stranger that is in thy gates, that he may eat it, or thou mayest sell it unto an alien. For for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not see the kid in his mother's milk.
Right. So this lets you know we not the same as everybody. He said that when we first started reading, we not the same. Right? We are peculiar people. You can't see a dead. It said we can eat an ox, but you can't find a dead ox in the woods and start eating it. You can't find a dead deer and start eating it because it died of itself. You didn't kill it, right? So if you're gonna eat these animals, you have to kill it. But it said the stranger, the other people other than Israel can't eat them. This is how you know it's a difference between us and them. Esau can eat that bacon. All right, you can sell it to him, but you can't eat it, Israel. Right? Go ahead, oh.
Yeah, man. That's how they do them. That's how it's gonna be in the kingdom too as well, and that's how the white man do in today's time. He give us all the old meat. He put that in our restaurants and our hoods and stuff like that. But in they areas they got the fresh meat. You know what I'm saying? They give us the old raggedy meat that the passed on meat. You see what I'm saying? That's how it's gonna be in the kingdom of heaven. We gonna have the best of the best foods and meats. And we're gonna give them the leftovers. We're gonna give them the crumbs, as Christ said. They get the crumbs that fall from the master table. By year.
That's a mighty point, Ken.
That's right, man. The Most High always separated us from everybody else. All right, we can't do the things that they do. They can do it, we can't. Right, so you got to trust in the Lord. When you get hungry, that's what Saul's men did. Saul forced them into a fast, but they got so hungry that they broke the law. We went over that the week before last, I believe, chapter 12, Deuteronomy 12. But they got so hungry that they broke the law. Right, you still, even under pressure, you still have to keep the Most High's laws. Even under pressure, you still got to do it. Right. So the stranger can eat it, but we can't eat it. Let's go to Leviticus. So this the original order. The Most High always had it set up to where the strangers were supposed to be servant in servitude and not be on the same level as us. Right? Leviticus 25 and verse. Let me see verse 44. All right, let's read that.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 25 and verse 44. Both bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids.
Go on.
Moreover, the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall ye buy, and of their families that are with you, which they beget in your land, and they shall be your possession.
So the Lord uses the word in the English version of the Bible that we have. Stranger is used interchangeably with the heathen, and sometimes it refers to our people who are strangers in a land. But this is how you know it's a distinction in strangers, because the Lord just said we couldn't eat anything that dieth of itself. But that don't mean that we won't be strangers at some point. Abraham was a stranger, right? When he went into the land of Canaan. But he still couldn't eat unclean things. All right. Jacob was a stranger at times. Moses was a stranger. Right. So these strangers here is talking about the heathen. Right. They supposed to be possessions. It's like how you got a pet. You can kind of throw scraps of food out to them. That's kind of how we supposed to treat them. This is what the Lord has set up, right? Go ahead, oh, you had something?
Con, yeah, I had a quick question, King. So you know how the heathens they dwelt among us, right? So if they dwelt among us, they will have to keep the law if they want to, be around us as servants and handmaids, of course. So will we be able to throw them unclean foods though? As far as like if they since they supposed to be keeping the law, if they're around us, they weren't gonna be breaking the law if we keeping the law. So were we able to throw them like unclean foods too? Or it can be dead, like it can be a clean food that's dead and we throw it to them.
Well, you can sell it. You can sell it to the stranger. This is scripture that say that. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me see if
I want to feed them a bowl of worms.
I said a bowl of worms.
Right. Matter of fact, that's where we at in in Deuteronomy 14. All right, verse 21. It says, we can't eat of anything that dieth of itself. So if it dieth of itself, it's unclean as well. Right? Because it's like a dead body, like a person that died, he'd be unclean. Right? But it said you shall give it unto the stranger. Now, in the same token, the Lord said we can't touch a swine carcass. You can't touch it. So you gotta kind of like make him go get it. You too holy for that to be handling that type of food, right? So you can give it to them. I thought it was another one that said that you could sell it to them. It may be. I might just
Yeah, hold on. It might be. I think it is. I'll look for it real quick, man. If I find it.
Is it Leviticus 17:15?
Yeah, because that's a good point. Because if it's dead, it's already unclean.
Right, it's already unclean. Yeah, Leviticus 17:15.
Leviticus chapter. You want that, Ken?
Yeah, let's read that.
Chapter 17 and verse 15. And every soul that eateth that which dieth of itself, or that which was torn with beasts, whether it be one of your own country or a stranger, he shall both wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the even. Then
Right, so
shall he be clean.
Yeah, so if you touch that thing, it make you unclean. If it died of itself, or say it was a ox that got mauled by a lion, you touch it, you're unclean because it's dead. You didn't kill it. All right. I don't know why the Lord make the distinction like that. I mean, it's above my pay grade, but it make us unclean to touch it. So I would make the heathen go touch it. Because
Yeah.
That's from what I'm understanding.
And Slakia King, real quick. And that show you that show you how the Most High, that second Ezra chapter 6 and verse 54 through 57, that's a perfect example how the Most High said they like spit to him. And that show you in the law. Like we can't eat nothing that dies of itself, but they can eat it though. So that show you how the Most High feel about them. By you.
That's right, man. Let's go back to Deuteronomy. Verse 21, he also said, thou shalt not see the kid in his mother's milk. A kid is a baby goat. So you can't, seed means to boil. So you can't boil a baby goat in his mother's milk. You can't do that. It's not kosher. Right. And it may be something deep to that, but I don't see it as of now. Right. But you can't do that. All right, let's keep going.
Verse 22. Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed, and the field bringeth forth year by year.
You got to tithe the increase of your seed, whatever you grew in your crops, right? Because back then we had an allotment of land. Everybody had an allotment of land except for Levi, right? So you had to tithe the increase of your seed that you brought forth year by year and give it to the Levites. Now, do we have a Levite priesthood anymore? We're under the intermediate Melchizedek priesthood, right? We not tithing anymore because we don't have that Levitical priesthood anymore. So some of these laws that are in here, we're going over them for routine and repetition so that we could understand our heritage. A lot of these things we don't like year of Jubilee. In order to keep the year of Jubilee, you got to be in the land and you got to know what year you came into the land. Can we do that in America? No, because we in captivity. All right, so a lot of these things we reading it for the purposes of understanding us and our heritage, right? So let's keep going.
Verse 23. And thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose to place his name there, to tithe of thy corn, of thy wine, and of thine oil, and of the firstling of thy herds and of thy flocks, that thou mayest learn to fear the Lord thy God always.
Right. So basically, this was to teach us to give the Lord our best, right? To always bring forth our best to the Most High, right? And it'll also teach us to trust Him because usually the first thing that grow, you want to consume that yourself, but we supposed to set that aside for the Lord. That was to show that we trusted Him, all right? And like it said, that we may learn to fear the Lord thy God always. Because at the end of the day, he's the one that makes sure we have these things, right? Let's keep going.
And if the way be too long for thee, so that thou art not able to carry it, or if the place be too far from thee, which the Lord thy God shall choose to set his name there, when the Lord thy God has blessed thee, then thou shalt turn it into money, and bind up the money in thy hand, and shalt go into the place which the Lord thy God shall choose.
Right. So we had money. We always had money. It's a misconception of, well, we don't, brother, we don't do that with the animals no more. Because there wasn't no money back then. We had money. We could tithe. We had money back then. So it ain't a thing where it's like, okay, it's 2024. Now you have to tithe your money. You have to pay tithes and it's 10% of your check. No, we always had money. Tithing was just, it had to do with giving food to the Levites to make sure that they had something, right? So if you was this, for instance, you was going to the feast day, this is what this is going into now. You was going to the feast day, and if the way was too far for you to take those ox, that's a big animal. Say that your tithing of oxen is 5 ox. Well, that you might live in Laodicea, like in the New Testament, right? You might live in a part of Rome. Well, it may take you, that way may be too far to take them 5 oxen to Jerusalem. They may die on the way there. They may get sick on the way there. Now you just out of ox. So what you would do is turn it into money before you left. And then when you got where you were going, you buy the ox again. That's what it's going to say. All right, let's keep reading.
Verse 26. And thou shalt bestow that money for whatsoever thy soul lusteth after, for oxen, or for sheep, or for wine, or for strong drink, or for whatsoever thy soul desire. Thou shalt eat there before the Lord thy God, and thou shalt rejoice, thou and thine household.
All right. So when we came to the feast days, we had to be joyful. Oh, you had something? Okay.
Lie, can't lie.
Okay. So well, yeah, when we come to these feast days, you had to be joyful in the presence of the Lord, right? Whatever differences you got or you had, that's what it said. And let me get that in Matthew 18. This is what it's talking about. Yeah, Matthew 5. Right? Matthew 5 and verse 24. Let's read that.
Leave there thy gift before the altar, and go thy way. First be reconciled to thy brother, and then come and offer thy gift.
Right. So before you did what we reading about in Deuteronomy 14, you needed to do this first. You had to reconcile with your brother or your sister before you go and try to bring them 5 oxen before the Lord. Why? Because you had to keep the feast with joy. Like it said, you got to do this, but you got to be before the Lord with joy. You and all your household got to be before the Lord with joy. All right. And then bring all these things here, the sheep, the wine, the strong drink, and offer it to the Lord. So it's the same today. You go to the feast days, the new moon, the Passover, you expect it to come, and you expect it to be joyful. And you expect it to have whatever art that you got or disagreement with a person, your brother, your sister, to be reconciled. Y'all need to try to work that thing out. Right? But see how they were saying that you will buy whatever you wanted at this time. Let me show you something real quick. Go to Matthew 21. This is why Yahweh Shah was mad. Matthew 21 and verse 12. Let's start there.
And Yahweh Shah went into the temple of Yahweh and cast out all of them that sold and bought in the temple, and overthrew the tables of the money changers and the seat of them that sold doves.
Read on.
And said unto them, it is written, my house shall be called the house of prayer, but ye have made it a den of thieves.
Right. So they started taking advantage of people when people they knew, okay, they couldn't bring all them oxen to Jerusalem. We got the oxen right here, but we making a come up. We taxing hard because we know you got to come to the Passover, right? You got camps that do that today. It's $300 a household to come to the Passover, right? It don't have to be all that. You get some, it don't have to be like that. The Most High don't want his house to be a den of thieves where people are just trying to make a profit and sell things and make money at his feast days, right? Yahweh Shah threw tables. It's in another account, the same account in another gospel. It say he was throwing people out of there, right? So he was mad over that. Yahweh Shah anger caught fire many times, right? He wasn't just always this little children and I love everyone. That wasn't him. He had righteous anger and righteous zeal at times, right? So let's go back. So that's what this is going into in Deuteronomy 14. Let's read verse 17.
Verse 27. And the Levite that is within thy gates, thou shalt not forsake him, for he hath no part nor inheritance with thee.
We go on.
At the end of 3 years, thou shalt bring forth all the tithe of thine increase the same year, and shalt lay it up within thy gates.
So we had to tithe every year, and you had to have every third year tithe as well. And that got to be given into the Levites, right? So we made sure they were straight. Let's read on.
And the Levite, because he had no part nor inheritance with thee, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow, which are within thy gate, shall come, and shall eat and be satisfied, that the Lord thy God may bless thee in all the work of thine hand which thou doest.
Right. So it said now here the strangers talking about our people, somebody that may be sojourning in our land, right? He's an Israelite. We had to make sure he was good. It said the fatherless, right? So what's that? That's child support. We had our own child support system even back then. Now we supposed to be able to do that and work those type of things out amongst ourselves, right? Tobit, go ahead.
King, real quick. I'm glad you brought that out about the fatherless and having child support back then, because when you was talking about the pastors and people thinking that we didn't have no money back then, for some reason they think we was living in sticks and tents back then. But we was a wealthy people back then, man. We back in ancient Mesopotamia, we had technology. But I ain't gonna go too far in that, but I yield. But we've been having things just like the modern world now.
That's right. That's right, man. So yeah, you had to make sure that the widow, right? you have to make sure all these people were okay. Now, Paul gave more further instructions about the widow. He was like, in order for the church to take care of her, she got to be 60 and up, right? But she probably, if she's a young widow, she still could possibly get married, right? So we had to make sure that everybody within our gates, right, were straight, and that's how you know it's talking about Israel, right? So we'll end it there. All praises to the Most High, and all glory and esteem to the Most High God by Hashem Yahweh Shah. All right. Next week, Most High willing, we'll pick up at chapter 15, and we'll make it through that through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shah. All right. All honor and glory to Him, and I appreciate everybody for coming through. Tomorrow, 6:40, you got the Sisters Prayer Call. Thursday, 7 o'clock, real time prophecy. All right, Most High willing. And Sunday we'll have another Bible study at 7 as well. All right, hope to see everybody there. And with that, I'm gonna say Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.